Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teagle, and like always, is the man who got delayed but only by 1 week, so not too bad. Not that too bad. Noah Bailey.
Hey.
So yeah, we have a ton of stuff to talk about. It's been 2 weeks since we did our last podcast. Just a ton of trailers, other announcements. April Fool's Day has passed since, so there's a chance some of this stuff might not actually be real, but we'll, play
We'll
by
figure it
ear.
out.
Yeah, I do remember like 2 or so years ago, a podcast after April Fool's Day, we talked about the fact that it was at least heavily rumored that a Teen Titans show was coming back. Like, they were reviving Teen Titans, but then that hasn't been a thing since, even though that announcement happened the day before April Fool's Day. So is that a thing? Is it not? Was it actually rumored? I don't
know. I do remember that because it was interesting, but I felt like that was talked about the same in the same breath as Clone Wars was.
Yeah.
And Clone Wars came back, so I was kind of like, okay, so this is happening. But maybe that was just a coincidence because obviously that's different studios. But
I don't know. I saw the announcement the day before April Fool's. It was on the March 31st. So
right.
They wouldn't do an April Fool's Day joke before April Fool's Day.
It's April 1st in Australia. Yep. I don't know.
Okay.
To get everyone extra. I don't know. But
yeah, hopefully we won't be disappointed by anything we talk about today, aside from things that are actually genuinely disappointing. But we'll get to those. So I just want to start today with the first official trailer for the Suicide Squad. What are your thoughts on that trailer?
There's a lot going on.
Yes.
There was a lot going on. And it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird, which is expected because again, this is the Suicide Squad. This is not supposed to be.
Movie is gonna be weird. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. James Gunn as advertised. You're gonna feel all right, this is happening. And it kind of just was kind of going. There's an unnecessary amount of King Shark eating people for some reason. I get it, but it was we know, but it was 3 times in one trailer. We get it. He's a shark.
I think that's if not intentionally, I feel like it's at least subconsciously a jab at the first Suicide Squad, having in the trailer them saying, "Here's a crocodile man. He eats people." And then he never ate anybody in the movie.
Yeah, he kind of just was there.
Yeah. So we were showing you King Shark eats people in this movie.
A lot. So yeah, that's probably good just to kind of be okay, this isn't gonna be like the last one. We got a whole different idea. Yep. Look, I think the whole thing, we're all right, we're gonna go in there and get her. She's just hey guys, what you doing? And you're just wait, what? Yeah, I can see that. That sounds about right. But I could go back in there. No, it's
fine. Don't patronize us.
Funny. It was weird because Idris Elba with delivery was because I'm used to him being very serious and everything, but he kind of had that his serious but comedic kind of tone kind of worked here, so it was kind of cool.
He definitely still has the vibe of the leader type person, but
yeah,
they're just everything about the vibe of this movie is. We're not taking this seriously,
right?
We got James Gunn to make Guardians, but DC, that's what this is, and the jokes I thought all landed very well. The color grading just felt very fun.
A lot of color, yeah.
Which is very, very visually distinct, and honestly a very nice breath of fresh air since Justice is Gray happens. I can't I get some people love that movie, but how could you I personally can't even fathom watching Justice League in black and white. That doesn't make sense to me. Choosing to watch that movie in black and white, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm why would you do that? And that's weird because the characters that you really felt should have been colorful kind of weren't.
And then Superman in a black suit, so
yeah. Yeah, and I understand he's wearing a black suit, so it's not supposed to be colorful. But even Wonder Woman's suit was kind of
dull, flashy, very muted red. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't a bright red, it was a like a dark burgundy almost kind of vibe. Like it is what it is. But yeah, this one, like color hits you in the face in this movie. Like it was like, as a colorblind person, it kind of hurts a little bit because there's a lot going on, and you have to like take a step back and like, oh man, that's a lot of. It's kind of like, and it is kind of the vibe because I kind of get that same feel from like Guardians a lot of the time, especially the second one.
Yeah, Guardians 2 is definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of color going on.
After watching Guardians 1, me personally, after watching Guardians 2, Guardians 1 to me personally is kind of underwhelming. Just I feel everything about that movie was done way better in the second one. I know some people love that movie, etc., but like the colors pop a lot more. I thought the jokes are generally better. The characters I like more in the second one. And it's like all of that is being transferred perfectly into Suicide Squad. And
yeah, it looks good. I like it. We'll go for it. There's a bunch of like you said, they're not taking this seriously. I mean, they've got John Cena, we're getting Pete Davidson in the movie, so like Starro we know how this is gonna go.
We're getting freaking Starro as the main villain, and it works. Like that is the perfect kind of villain for this kind of movie because. Yeah, even though Starro was the original Justice League villain, like he was the villain of Justice League issue 1, he's not going to be in a movie anytime soon. Like that's not like a go-to Justice League movie villain. Like, but for side stories like this, where it would be really fun to see Starro mind control like half the team and have them fight each other, and then I have like 2 people left at the end. That's just gonna be great. A lot of fun.
You're like, wait, no, I'm not being mind controlled. Someone's head just blown. Ooh, like one of those is coming. Like, and yeah, and it's funny because like Starro's just one of those villains that's just like a lot going on. It's just like there's a lot doing with it. It's just because it's like, wow. There's either, giant starfish or mind control or both or like, like whatever we want to do. It's kind of like you can kind of just play with that very easily for a very not serious movie, and it can work a lot of ways. Yeah. So this is exciting stuff.
Plus, like I feel Starro isn't necessarily the kind of thing that I feel Suicide Squad couldn't take on. Like like in the original movie, the reason why they formed the Suicide Squad was in case another Superman event happened. Like, I don't think this Suicide Squad is capable of taking on a Superman. Whereas, like, Starro, yes, he is, a giant alien starfish with mind powers, but, like, if you hit it enough times, I'm sure it'll go down. Like,
just punch it, it'll be fine.
Yeah, like the CG on Starro from what we saw looked really good. Just everything about it just seemed to work very well so far, and I'm very excited for this movie.
It's pretty exciting, and like, yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a wild, fun movie, which is great.
Yeah. So what's next real quick? So we have, I swear that Black Adam movie isn't coming out. It's like, it sounds really exciting, but it's been delayed 20 times.
Yeah. Well, no, it's weird because every time we hear anything about it, everyone gets so excited.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, I mean, yeah, like, and not that I don't think it's gonna be good. It's just like it's like we get little stuff. It's like they've had a costume designer. Yes! Woo! Like everyone's like so pumped. And it's just like, dude, this movie's not even off the ground yet. Like we have nothing right now. Like I'm not
concept art. That's about
right. Yeah, like or like it'll be like a concept trailer, like just the title. Like
yeah.
I didn't learn anything.
Like here are pictures of some characters that might be in the movie. Like I think we have casting for Dr. Fate and Hawkman. Oh, someone I don't know who was it. Someone kind of famous was Dr. Fate. Oh, it was Pierce Brosnan, I think. I think Pierce Brosnan is playing Dr. Fate.
Oh.
So that's
okay, see,
that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's not a bad, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm against that. I think that's great, but it's like, we still have so much to like get underway for. It's really exciting. And there's also projects supposedly coming out that still have nothing going either.
Yeah.
You know, like what's going on with Flash? Is that still happening? We've got
Maybe.
this Batman movie supposed to still be coming out, which again, that looks like it has stuff ready to go. So like that's more.
I think that wrapped filming recently. So
yeah, so like that's progress. I can see that and be like, okay, cool, I'm excited. But like this one, it's like we have like for all we some troll on YouTube, like like I don't know, like we don't really have. I mean, it's not, but I mean, but it's like there's nothing really that much about it yet that I'm like ready to be excited about. It's kind of just like still teasing stuff.
Like I am very excited for the concept of Black Adam just obliterating the Justice Society of America. Like that sounds a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Him taking on Dr. Fate, Hawkman, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. Like that sounds like a very fun team for Black Adam to fight. And like that is exciting, but I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to like actually get excited if it's just gonna every single time anyone talks about it, it gets delayed again because we newest release date July 29th next year. Maybe.
Supposedly. Yeah. But I mean everything's still getting kind of delayed, so we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Like I hope it hits that. That sounds like a fantastic summer movie to watch. Like I'm all in on a movie like that next summer. If it actually comes out next summer, we'll see.
Yeah, it's like I'm holding my excitement until a later date where it's more on the ground running because of the history. It looks like a movie's just like backing up. But
yeah, actually, speaking of Warner Brothers projects that probably aren't coming out, so there had been at least a plan for a New Gods movie since like 2016. Wow. That's been canceled. There's also a James Wan, the director of Aquaman, said that he was planning a movie based on the trench, which is one of the areas that they went to in Aquaman, which is like
a home.
Not happening.
Okay. See, but like no one cries.
That wasn't the trench specifically. Like I could easily see like a spin-off horror movie set in that area. Like it would at least be very different than other DC stuff, really ever. And the New Gods theoretically could be, like this epic space opera. Even though I personally feel the New Gods are woefully uninteresting. Like
kind of bland. Miracle, you don't remember any of their names really.
Mr. Miracle or Orion is one of the most boring characters. Like every single time he shows up on screen in any cartoon, I don't.
There aren't a lot of versions of Orion that like Mr. Miracle, okay, but like Orion or like even Highfather's kind of just like
he's just Zeus Light. These are like Odin, but and
it's weird because like Darkseid's like really interesting and ministering and sinister, and everyone else is just kind of like we're good.
If we had a movie just about Apocalypse with like Granny Goodness and Desaad and Steppenwolf and Darkseid and Big Bard and all those people, like that's a very fun movie. Who cares about Highfather?
And that's kind of my thing. It's like, who asked for that? Like, I don't think anyone asked for like that's like a very specific corner of DC like knowledge that we're making a whole movie out of. It's like that should get like maybe a comic series. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like a new could be interesting, and it could be similar to the Guardians of the Galaxy, where like I didn't care about those characters before, but now I do now that the movie is out.
Maybe.
And that also could have characters from Apocalypse on there, but it wouldn't be my first choice right away. Like I feel like the New Gods are a thing you can kind of insert into other movies once the stakes are rising higher and higher. Kind of like insert these other characters into future DC movies, just kind of periodically leading to Darkseid War or Apocalypse War, whatever. But having just a movie about New Gods, like I said, wouldn't be my first choice. Maybe it would have been fun, but it's been at least sidelined for now. So, which it's like kind of upsetting, for the people who were excited, for the people working on the movie. I'm sure disappointing for them, but DC has other plans, right? They have other stuff going.
Yeah, they've got a lot going on, and so that's what I think. It's like there's 100 movies feels like being announced there all the time. So it's like, if the new Gods movie doesn't work, I don't think too many people are gonna be crying. But.
Yeah, and part of this, if you're just kind of looking at what we've talked about so far in a vacuum, it could kind of lead credence to, the Snyder fanboys who are like, Warner Brothers doesn't have a plan without Snyder. Snyder had a plan, a 5-movie plan for these characters. Warner Brothers doesn't have a plan. They need to bring him back to fix this. And a part of me is like, Warner Brothers is doing a terrible job proving you wrong. But considering just how divisive his movies have been so far, even Justice League, I feel like anyone who, from what I've seen on the internet, people who are positive towards it relative to the 2017 one, which even I feel personally is kind of charitable, because I feel there are good things done in both. That Somewhere in the Middle is a really good movie, but both together, both alone, not so much. But like, I haven't seen that many people who are just like, praising it, who aren't like, Snyder fanboys. I don't see people who are praising it that aren't just comparing it directly to 2017. So I'm not really sure if Snyder's plan would really be what Warner Brothers is looking for. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, it's just kind of like you said, like Warner Bros. Doesn't know what they're doing. They're kind of just throwing ideas into movies and hoping things work out. Because I don't know, because now it's like, are these movies, are we doing a universe? Are we not? Are we just making random DC projects? Like, we're kind of doing both at the same time, which is kind of dumb because, like, I mean, you don't know what you're doing at this point.
Yeah, and maybe it is just the fact that Marvel perfected the, comic, the comic cinematic universe so well that we just kind of assume that Warner Brothers would want to do something like that, or feel like Warner Brothers should do something like that. Whereas I feel Warner Brothers going the multiverse route, having, the Man of Steel timeline being its own universe, with the Batman being in Earth 2, with Black Adam being its own thing, with Flashpoint being Flashpoint, like, that could work. And that definitely does allow them to make multiple projects without them being tethered to anything else. But to the general audience, I don't know how many people are going to see Black Adam or see the Batman and not be confused if other characters who are not, like, imagine Ben Affleck showing up in a future Batman movie, even though, like, let's assume the Batman makes $1 billion in the box office, but then Ben Affleck's Batman shows up in Flashpoint or some future movie. How many people are going to go into another Batman movie or some other movie with Ben Affleck in it and be confused? Hey, why isn't that the Batman that we just saw 6 months ago? I'm confused. Because people are dumb.
Well, yeah, but it's also weird because usually you don't have multiple variations of the same character in a box office movie at the same time, especially to this degree. It's like you don't have, it's like, yeah, you might have like the Flash show and like the Justice League Flash show, but you don't have 2 different movie Flashes at the same time.
Literally everybody who cares, who, like, even who is a casual, like just the normal person, they could see Man of Steel or whatever Superman movie at the time, and then go on CW and just watch, hey, Superman and Lois. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to understand these are 2 very different things. Like, Superman and Lois is its own timeline down here, whereas Henry Cavill is his own thing up here. Whereas if you have Ben Affleck's Batman and apparently Michael Keaton's Batman and also Robin Pattinson's Batman all at the same time, even if they're all individually very good, theoretically, there's a very high chance that people could just kind of be confused by this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when the movies are being made, kind of just whichever they come out, and like, and then that's weird for sequels too, because then you're like, okay, is this a sequel to this Batman or that Batman? And like, obviously, like, I guess by looking at the movies, but it's still like confusing when you have those going concurrently. It's make it weird.
Which you say that, but that does kind of bolster the idea that if theoretically, I know Warner Brothers has said differently, but I have a feeling things might change if fanboys scream loud enough. Theoretically, if Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 does end up happening, if assuming Snyder wants to make it, I could very easily see them being like, okay, all future movies in the Snyder timeline are going to be on HBO Max or whatever streaming service happens.
Okay.
Where it's like that is its own distinct universe set in like whatever dimension on HBO Max. They theoretically could reference that if they do a Crisis on Infinite Earths thing, but Snyderverse is on HBO Max, whereas the Batman and future movies and such are happening on the big screen. That could work. Plus, that would also allow Snyder a little more leeway with how long his movies need to be, maybe not have much creative control, because people are not going to be the general audience is not going to want to sit in a theater for 4 hours to watch Justice League.
Right.
I had to do it over 2 sittings myself. I'm not watching it in a theater. It makes my whole day.
No one's gonna. I mean, well, people might, but I not as many people are going to. No, the general public probably won't.
But if it's on HBO Max and it's readily available, I would probably watch it. Yeah. And then, like, obviously, I wouldn't be confused, but I wouldn't be confused regardless. But anyone who potentially could be confused, I feel that disconnect of this not being on the big screen. If they get a future Superman in the, God forbid, the J.J. Abrams reboot, please no, the J.J. Abrams reboot, that is a different Superman than the one at CW than the one at HBO Max.
Right. Okay, so they kind of just keep HBO Max as kind of their like alternative source of universe.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. That actually makes a lot of sense. Especially with like how the age of streaming has really grown the past year because of COVID. So like, yeah, they could get a strong following that way.
Although there is an upsettingly high chance that within 5 years movies are going to be done for. Like the movie theaters are going to be done.
Do you really think so? 5 years?
I said no. It's like a 30% chance. Like considering just how desperate people are right now to go to the movies, and considering like what movies, like the movies that are coming out in theaters either aren't doing well or the wrong movies are doing well. Like like for example, Raya and the Last Dragon isn't doing very well in the theaters. Even though the trailers I thought looked really good. I don't know how many people are seeing it on Disney Plus, but I doubt that many since you have to pay $30 for it. Whereas Godzilla versus Kong, which is fine. It's like have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm planning on seeing it this weekend. I almost saw it last weekend, but things fell through.
It is insanely dumb. It's very fun. The last 20 minutes is fantastic. The last 20, when the monsters are fighting, it's fantastic.
Is it what we talked about? Mostly just sitting in human top. Oh.
There is literally
There
is literally a plot point where it's like you're following this set of 3 characters through most of the movie. Whenever it cuts to them, you're like, oh yeah, they're in this. And I guess they're like the main plot, but like they're barely in it. But like they're doing the kind of important stuff for the movie's plot. But then the thing that they end up actually doing in the very end seems to not matter. Like they do a thing and then like it affects what's going on.
But not really.
Yeah, and then like something like pauses for half a second and they just keep going. Like it's just like, it seems like they were added way late in production. They just forgot to change. I don't know.
Probably. My thing with those movies is like I understand that like it takes a lot of budget to have those monster fights, and you don't want to just have a 20-minute movie.
Yeah.
But why are like we could just like we could talk about other damage and like do like other stuff, or like why are we just why is it always people focused? Like,
oh no, literally, this could have been a 90-minute movie. Cut out their sub main kind of plot entirely. Right? nothing would have been different.
Yeah, it's like these don't need to be long movies. Like they can be shorter movies. Like, you know, maybe not 15 minutes, but like they can be shorter movies, and then you just focus on the fighting.
Yeah.
Nobody be mad about that.
I definitely do recommend it. So, you know, since it is on HBO Max and you just have it, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the entire movie in theaters, if that makes sense. But I definitely would recommend, if possible, watch the two fights. There's the two fights that are in the trailer. That's about it. Yeah. But they're very good. If you could see those on the biggest screen as possible, I would highly recommend that. But like the 70 minutes in between that, you could take it or leave it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So as I was saying, like that movie, which is not great, made well over $100 million at the box office now.
Dang.
Whereas, you know, Raya just kind of isn't. And like, you know, Christopher Nolan also got very annoyed at Warner Brothers for releasing his movie, you know, in theaters at a bad time. So he might not be working with them. So just the chess pieces are there, I feel, within like the not too distant future for at least, you know, great movies to not be in theaters anymore. Yeah. Like the rise of Disney Plus and HBO and, you know, Netflix being strong, I could easily see within 10 years movies only being on
Dude,
I don't want it, but I'm just saying I could see it.
Yeah, I know. If we have to like go tell our kids like the stories of when you like went to the movies and how they don't, like, I would be so upset.
Yeah.
But we got to, I mean, they had a good run so far, so like it could have been worse.
And you know, there still are plenty of movies coming out in the near future.
Got time.
But we'll see for how much longer. So kind of going off that, I do want, so Warner Brothers hasn't technically released a full breakdown of the like statistics of Zack Snyder's Justice League, but we have gotten like a little bit of like information about opening week, about like what kind of people saw it, etc. We know that opening weekend, Thursday through that Sunday, 1.8 million people watched Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max. I believe that's individual users. It could, it was a little unsure about if it was views, like how many people actually turned it on, because apparently 36% of people who watched it, only 36% of people who watched it saw it in one sitting. So 64% saw it over at least 2 sittings.
Right, because it's so long.
Yeah, I did that. Did you do that?
I actually didn't. We like paused it and like took an hour break and then we turned it back on.
Okay.
Like, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched it over 2 days. So apparently many other people also did that. So I'm not sure if that 1.8 million is individual HBO Max accounts or individual instances of pressing play, you know, on the actual movie.
Right.
But that's still very good. That's still very, very good. Considering this movie shouldn't have been made in the first place. You know, just saying.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. And that's, as far as I could tell, that's the extent of the information we have on Justice League. We don't know how many new users have been associated with this movie. We don't know how many people have canceled subscriptions since this movie came out. We don't know how many people have viewed it since. which Disney is very, very good about stuff like that. Like every single week they release how many viewers of, a WandaVision or Mandalorian, Falcon Winter Soldier, etc., and then periodically release numbers of how many users are on Disney Plus. So yeah, the fanboys are not happy about that. Like, we know this movie's doing really well. We're all watching it over and over and over again. So why won't you intentionally inflating the numbers to make it seem like more people are watching it than they are, admitting that's what they're doing, and then being mad that Warner Brothers isn't telling people that so many people are watching it, whatever. So in an interview that surfaced just like the day after Justice League came out, though this interview happened a week before the movie came out, someone had interviewed some higher up at Warner Brothers, and they said that they currently have no plans to release to. Currently have no plans to #restore the Snyderverse.
Oof.
Which includes they said definitively no on the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, which, like I've said before, has a 0.00001% chance of being any good.
Yeah, I don't see that going amazing. But I mean, restore. I mean, again, we've seen though, like the fanboys have Pat pull. They have made these every DC or Web or Warner Brothers post. It's like release the Snyder Cut, boom, 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 and
now it's restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah, so it's kind of like they're just like, you give people an inch, they're gonna take a mile. So that's kind of like, that was kind of the first kind of red flag. I'm like, when this is happening, I'm like, oh man, this is not gonna stop with just one thing.
Like, I'm pretty sure I said before it even came out, I was like, I guarantee, even if this movie is terrible, they're still going to try to demand Warner Brothers 100%. Finish out his trilogy, make him CEO of Warner Brothers, etc. Just like make him control this. And
it sucks.
And here's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily hate watching a sequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League. I think, like, I obviously didn't love Zack Snyder's Justice League. I know we had a running bet that if that movie was good and it made BVS a better movie, I would delete my channel. We're still here. So
like, well.
However, I do kind of feel like a sequel to this movie would still obviously be a Zack Snyder movie, but at least, I don't know, I think it would have potential. I can't explain it, but I think I would let me put it this way. I don't plan on rewatching Zack Snyder's Justice League anytime soon. Maybe like, no, I can't even think of like, at least not until later next year. Like, give it a year and a half before just like diving back in.
Right.
So there are some people on Twitter who are like, oh yeah, I've already watched it 4 times today. I'm like,
4 times?
When?
Did you sleep? Like
16
like
hours.
If you watch it 4 times in a day, I'm like, I don't even know if you could do that.
I mean
pass out.
It might just be in the background, and maybe they like fast forward the slow parts, but they don't think there are any slow parts. So
even though there's literally like 10 minutes of slow motion.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, there's so much. But I mean, look, and that's the thing. Like, we live in a society where, like, I said it, even though you didn't say it. Yeah. Which again, everyone was talking about that line. Wasn't even in the movie.
It was in. It was. I think Snyder released a deleted scene where that line was there. It was very out of place.
Like, that's like, you had a 4-hour-long movie. You couldn't fit that in.
Are you kidding me?
There was no. You can't say anything about we couldn't fit it in. We didn't know. It's like, you didn't want to put it in there. It was 4 hours long. There is no excuse. If it's not in there, it's not in there.
Yeah.
You had all this stuff going in there. 4 hours. That's 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
If you couldn't fit a part of a scene, again, a scene that was not even relevant to anything.
No.
or made no sense, did not need to exist at all.
Yep, the scene
other
itself.
than to just make things interesting.
It's weird. I'm gonna let you get back to your thought in just a second, but like it's insane to me that scene of in the nightmare, the nightmare dream sequence at the very fourth hour of Justice League.
Yeah,
that was set up by a scene that happened in BVS. But the crazy part is that scene wasn't originally part of the cut that would have originally gone to theaters, unless they just hadn't filmed it yet, because that entire sequence was shot in the backyard in Zack Snyder's backyard last October. Like he made that entire scene, like, since the Snyder cut was announced to be a thing. Maybe it was in the original script, but it wasn't a cohesive part of the movie, even though it was teased specifically this was going to be in Justice League in BVS. But it was put in at the fourth hour, both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, like and like the way it was fit in the movie, it kind of felt like they forgot about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh crap, we can't not have this scene in the movie. The kid will kill us."
There's reasons that just like smash cuts. There's no transition or anything. It's just
you're here now.
Yep, you're just in the future. Like,
okay, where are we? Don't know. What's happening? Don't know.
Why is Joker and Batman talking now? Like, why are they just talking about things they should have already discussed a long time ago? Like, do they just have this conversation every single time they meet?
Just nothing. It's literally just having it just to say we did this.
Yep.
Which is, a metaphor for every Zack Snyder movie.
Joker was absolutely not going to be in the original Justice League.
No.
100%.
There was no reason.
The nightmare sequence maybe was going to be in the original script, but they added Joker in way late.
And there's no reason they even needed him in it, because it's like, man, I don't know. I don't understand that.
You were saying we live in a society where...
And it's just weird to me because, like, people still swear, like, this was such a big, this was, it's like, these, like, context to any of this. And, maybe in some movie they'll try to add something to try to make it work. I mean, I think they tried to do that with this movie finally, to try to make that whole random nightmare sequence in BVS work, but whatever, or not might work, but yeah, that and... the whole, like, I don't know, man. It just, like, we're really, like, again, I'm not saying that, like, sometimes you got to understand things, but it's like, if you're really making the viewer doing all the heavy lifting, like, is it really that good? Like, it's like, if you have to compensate that hard to be like, oh, that makes sense. Like, is it really that good, or are you just lying to yourself?
Yeah, which is part of the reason why like I said, I have no plans of rewatching Zack Snyder's Justice League anytime soon. But if a sequel were made, I would probably watch it. Like I would
like we'd have to. Almost.
Yeah. Like I would be way more likely to want to watch a sequel to this movie than want to watch the movie again. Yeah. So
I could see that. I guess it's just annoying because it's like, it's not like terrible stuff isn't happening. Like, it's how things are like shown. It's like not everything about this is terrible, but like how you went about doing this is terrible. Basically.
Yeah, like having Cyborg's complete arc just be a montage with his dad talking to him. It doesn't sit right with me that like.
But since it's better than not having a character, it's oh, he's amazing now.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like,
that's the thing.
Like people the bar was not high.
People only think that because he was a non-character and was basically not in the last movie. But because he's basically like, he's kind of the deuteragonist in this movie. Like he probably takes as much screen time as Batman, honestly. Like, because he's basically the deuteragonist, and like, a lot of stuff does happen at him.
Yeah, like around
not really
him.
to him or because of him, just at him. Like people just assume that's a better character when it's at least a character. I just don't know if it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's dumb too because like I don't sorry. It's dumb too because it's kind of just like what I like even Batman too. Like Batman I really don't like Batman in this movie because like Batman doesn't really do, to be honest, doesn't really do anything.
No, he's not.
He really doesn't do anything. He kind of is just like he's that guy who like gets the group project together and then watches everyone else do all the work.
Yep. And then Martian Manhunter is the guy who doesn't show up at all and then shows up
no,
on the day presenting
like Martian Manhunter should not have been in this movie at all. Like I like Martian Manhunter. I know we've even said like, oh, we need, the Justice League should have 7 members and all that stuff. And like I agree with that. But it's like, first off, he was not in the movie. He did not need to be in this movie. He added nothing except, oh, you did that thing.
You made it worse. He did
make it worse.
That Lois and Martha scene was so good, and then he's Martian. Why is she Martian?
Why is he Martian Manhunter? That makes and then it makes Lois' value even less significant because like she was already a plot device, but this time she had a little substance, and now you've taken the substance away, so now she's 100% plot device.
Yep.
And then it's like Martian Manhunter was here, and like apparently watched all this go down. It was just kind of like, hope the Earth doesn't get destroyed by all this. But I like my couch. Like, are you just watching this?
He's the guy on the group chat who reads every message but doesn't respond. He just like doesn't show up to any of the meetings, doesn't even like sign into the Google Doc, and then shows up day of just to stand there with the rest of the group as they present, but he doesn't even say anything.
No, and he shouldn't even have been there. And it's annoing because they're like, oh, they finally added. He's like, Zack Snyder's so great. He finally added Martian Manhunter. It's like, no, he didn't. Like, he didn't do it. He wasn't even in the movie. And like, I don't know. Like, really, that whole movie feels like it could have just been honestly because he didn't really feel like he needed Superman either. Like,
no, yeah, you're right.
Like, it could have Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and like I would say Cyborg this time just because he did a lot more.
Yeah.
Everyone else kind of was just there.
If the goal of the movie wasn't to stop the Unity, and if the goal was them to come together to stop Steppenwolf, easily they could have mollywopped him. Easily they could have, because Cyborg, yeah, he was preoccupied completely by the mother boxes, so he wasn't really able to fight with them. Even then, I still feel like with that Aquaman and Wonder Woman probably should have been able to take him by themselves, but the plot says they need a Superman to come save them.
Right. So. Right. Like, and it was weird because like you kind of felt like, oh, they kind of Steppenwolf's stronger this time around at the beginning, and then like not really. Because like when the Justice League gets there, they're kind of like total. I'm like, y'all could beat them. Y'all just need to work better.
Yeah.
Together.
Batman, like, put on your big suit. Flash, actually be a part of the fight. Like,
stop petting the dogs for some reason, and like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, and then Superman gets there and just absolutely demolishes. Which, don't get me wrong, I like when Superman is just like ridiculous sometimes, but like, it was like. It's like bringing a like RPG to like a knife fight. Like that was kind of really unnecessary. It was really just like, really? Did we really need to go all like that? And then like, it's still kind of, they tried to play it off like it was still kind of close. And it's like, no, it's not. Like it was close earlier. Superman just came in here now. It's not even close. Like he just like, basically like your axe didn't even touch him, so like you're done.
I hate that. I hate that so much. Like I know that happens in the comics too, but I don't like it then either. It's just there is a point where Superman gets a little too ridiculous for my liking. I really do like his character. I really do like that even though he has all these powers, he still can be limited in certain ways. But if he can just tank attacks from this super powerful alien, there's no problem. Like, especially since we weren't I'm not going to get into the dark side and past stuff right now. It didn't feel, because of what the movie told us, it really did feel like there's not going to be a problem. Like even in the future, if dark side shows up, there's not going to be a problem. But whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess. And I understand like they didn't want to do like dark side right away, which I totally get, because like you want to save that, you don't want to just use your biggest gun right off the bat, which I like that, because when they do that, like in New 52, it's really annoying because they kind of beat Darkseid. It's kind of like, well, guess we're just the best, aren't we?
Yeah. Only 7 of us can beat them. Yeah, like why? Yeah.
But anyway, I just like. Also, I mean, I don't know. Like, I understand that like this movie is kind of supposed to replace the original Justice League timeline wise and all that, but I'm like, I feel like you could have like put Shazam in there if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like if you can like just put Martian Manhunter in it, like even if he doesn't do anything, which may could have been for budget reasons, because that's probably a lot of like CGI, but still.
Yeah, because Shazam is kind of the movie itself. It's clearly set in this universe, but it's kind of it's a little trying to think, because there is that scene at the very, very end where Superman shows up, but that was probably a reshoot. If that scene didn't happen, it would be kind of hard to tell if this takes place before or after Justice League happened. So like you can just kind of Shazam's here too. Like
and again, I know that like post-credit scene is kind of just like, because that was like in the middle of the whole Henry Cavill's out as Superman thing, which was already its own thing. So I don't even know if that was him. It's probably just some guy.
Probably some stunt double.
Yeah, because they didn't show us face, so it was probably just some dude.
I thought it was funny. I thought that scene would have been. I mean, it would have been a completely different scene if they had Henry Cavill, but because they didn't, I thought it was funny how they did it.
Yeah. But it's like you have Superman, like this isn't their universe, so like that would have made more sense if like, then again, it wouldn't have made sense for Shazam because like
he was maybe not a thing yet,
right? Because like in the movie he becomes a hero, so
like
it would have to be after, but still, I don't know.
But you could even have this be an alternate timeline where Shazam is already Shazam, and then have Shazam movie.
It doesn't matter. Maybe that's not the point. Like, and again, more characters was not the problem. Like the number of characters they have were not the problem. It was more of just like
Zack Snyder released concept art of a Green Lantern, John Stewart, that was going to be in it. Like that would have been cool if John Stewart was in this movie, I guess.
But again, why are you like releasing extras and deleted scenes and this was a concept? It's like, why didn't you just do it?
Oh no.
You had a 4-hour movie that you could do basically whatever you wanted with. This is supposed to be your whole vision. This is a 4-hour movie. If you can't fit it in a 4-hour movie,
wouldn't have hurt. Like extra 5 minutes wouldn't have hurt that.
Like really, like I noticed it was 4 hours and 10 minutes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I still would be calling it a 4-hour movie. So it's kind of like, I guess it's just weird because it's like all this extra stuff. So it's like, is this for other movies? Is this for this movie? I guess, but like, and I know they had like a Green Lanterns and like the original Darkseid thing, which that's its own thing. But like, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. It was just kind of weird because like, just do it. Don't say I would have. Like you could, like I understand saying I would have done this for the last one, but like you can't be like, oh well, I would have done this. I'm like, well then why didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably something with, we ran out of money, which I doubt because they gave him a lot of money.
It's $70 million. They would have given him whatever. Like, I'm sure if he asked, they would have given him a little bit more.
Probably, and also like you already had they already had a movie, so you had $70 million to basically make another movie on top of it, which they pretty much did. So like, I feel like that was doable, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I personally don't understand why so many people adore this movie as much, because I personally don't like it. But if you do like it, that's your prerogative. If you do, Really want a sequel? Great. Just please don't harass Warner Brothers about this. They've been like every single day on Twitter, there's like the same 5 people who are just like, today is a good day to tweet out hashtag restore the Snyderverse. I'm like, calm down. Like it's gonna work too. It's gonna work.
It's gonna work. I mean, it already did once. It's gonna work again.
I don't know. I can't understand that level of fandom. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. But moving away from that for now. Batman: The Long Halloween had its voice cast announced, and I believe the first part of that is coming out in July, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Batman will be played by Jensen Ackles, who, funnily enough, actually played Jason Todd in Under the Red Hood movie.
Interesting. So, okay.
That's actually pretty neat.
Yeah, coming full circle a little bit. That's interesting.
Joker will be Troy Baker. Yes. Yeah, like if you can't get Mark Hamill, like he's basically perfect.
Next closest guy, yeah.
And Josh Duhamel is going to be Harvey Dent.
Okay.
Yeah, like I personally don't love when movies do like an all-star cast and like every single person is like some famous actor, but like it seems like most of the other cast in this movie is either like C-tier actors or voice actors. So having someone like Josh Duhamel be Harvey Dent, who like is a pretty important part in the movie, like yeah, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah, go for it. Fine. Yeah, and like it is Harvey Dent, so like I get it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I'm excited because like you said, you know, Troy Baker as the Joker is great. And like I know he's played Batman also, which is kind of crazy.
He played Batman and Joker in the Ninja Turtles.
I know. And like you couldn't tell at all. Like
his Batman does kind of sound just like him talking.
Yeah.
But you know what? He has a good voice.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like it kind of works still, so it's okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, his Joker is very good.
So did you see the trailer for Space Jam 2?
Yeah.
That's gonna be just a dumb movie, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, like the first Space Jam, you kind of knew what you were getting into.
Yeah,
like it's literally basketball with Looney Tunes, and like this one. But the thing about this one that I'm a little worried about is, it's kind of feels like they're kind of adding more than just Looney Tunes this time. It's kind of like I saw a YouTube comment. It was kind of like this feels more kind of like Ready Player One meets basketball than Looney Tunes, because they're like the Iron Giant and all this stuff. And I was kind of like, really, like direct from the last movie.
This is the third time Warner Brothers has done something like this, because they already did this with Ready Player One and the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
So this is a third time they're just like throwing all of their properties they possibly can into a single thing, and that's the movie. Which, like, I don't know how to feel about that, because the first one was so charming because it was, you know, the Looney Tunes, but now like they're talking about possibly bringing in Superman and like all these, you know, Matrix people and all these other just random Warner Brothers properties they just have just in the background. It's going to be a lot. I'm not sure how to feel about it. Yeah, I mean, I think the Looney Tunes are still going to be the main focus, but which makes it even weirder that they are having all these other cameos. But if the Looney Tunes do shine the brightest, I think it'll be fine enough.
Yeah, and I mean, it is Space Jam too, which kind of like, I feel like Space Jam is one of those movies that shouldn't have a sequel anyway.
Oh, you're right.
But you know, here we are. So
yeah, I do think the premise of this movie, it's so it feels like one of those movies where it's just like, we're not gonna care about the plot. We're just like we're just gonna make a movie, and the plot is we need to make a sequel. Like
Yeah,
literally, the
no.
first one was, aliens invaded the Looney Tunes world, and they needed to play basketball in order to beat them. So they got Michael Jordan to come play for them. Here, some entity is just like, hey, LeBron James, I want to play you in basketball to get your, for you to get your son back.
Okay.
You Looney Tunes. Like,
Yeah, it kind of
why?
just shows up in like Wile E. Coyote or whatever. And it's just kind of like, all right, here we go. And then there's
we need a
like,
sequel. So Don Cheadle, just tell him you want to play basketball with him. Like, okay.
yeah. Which I will admit, I think Don Cheadle's gonna be funny in this.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that'll be something. But yeah, it's kind of weird too because like in the original Space Jam, like the other opponent's team with other basketball players like abilities
Yeah.
taken by the original monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So like now I don't think they're doing that this time.
Now they seem to just be random aliens.
Yeah. Because if I was a basketball player, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have LeBron James and Bugs Bunny destroy me on a basketball court. But like, still,
I mean, 20 however many years ago, 25 years ago, they had whoever have
Charles Barkley and all that. Yeah, and
Yeah,
they did it too,
Yeah,
which is why I was just like, all right, like I guess the money was nice, but like, yeah, I guess it's like
then again, basketball players are paid exponentially more now than they were back in 1990s. So
true.
So
But they weren't struggling back then either. But yeah, definitely now LeBron making like 40 mil a year.
I don't know if Warner Brothers has enough to make it worth it for them.
But I mean, yeah, but kind of, yeah, but this kind of seems very, I mean, it's all forced, but like it kind of just feels very like unnecessary that we're doing this stuff, but like we're doing it because I feel like LeBron just wanted to make this movie.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like, okay, well, LeBron wants to do this. Sure. Let's
and like I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's not gonna be good. Even the first Space Jam's not great, but it's a lot of fun, Yeah,
it's like if you turn your brain off, you'll have a good time. I think. And I think there will be a couple jokes here and there that are gonna hit if you focus. But like,
and there's a pretty like I hope either Michael Jordan shows up at the end, like to help them out, or they still get Bill, 80-year-old Bill Murray to show up.
Go get Bill Murray just because. If Bill Murray comes back again, I would stand up and cheer in the theater. Because it's so the movie's almost over. It's so unnecessary. But they're like, what? We need to get Bill Murray because it's a 90s movie and you can't have a 90s movie without Bill. That's just the rules.
Exactly.
So just go get Bill Murray to be in the last 10 minutes of the movie for no reason. I feel like they would do that. I feel like this is the kind of movie that like a Kevin Hart or like Seth Rogen would just show up for no reason in.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll be like this version's Bill
Kevin
Murray.
Hart.
Yeah,
feels like the Bill Murray of now. Like he just shows up in random stuff.
Yeah, he would just show up, and I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, "Oh, cool, Kevin Hart's in this." But this would be. I don't know. This is gonna be wild, but
yeah,
there was some good. But like I said, I saw this and I was just kind of like, all right. But the more I thought about it, I was kind of like, this is gonna be interesting. So we'll see, but. There was in the trailer, there was a couple things I saw that I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then there's a lot of things I was like, oh, wow, we're really doing this.
Like the Looney Tunes, I don't love that they're gonna be in 3D, like that 3D CG, because they still do look very good in that, in that 3D animation, but they're literally always. I don't even know if there has ever been an instance of the Looney Tunes not being 2D, aside of in a 3D platformer at some point. That wasn't even a cartoon. It was a video game. So I don't know if that's ever actually a thing before now, but one off weird like like special episodes of certain things that make them 3D. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to take some getting used to, but I think the fact that everything's kind of like that, you'll kind of help you because you'll see other characters that you're more used to seeing that way, theoretically. So I guess you'll kind of like train yourself better, but like, we'll see. It's going to be weird. And like, it's going to be a funny, but like, I'm going to see it. Like, I don't care. It's funny. Like, it's space
like I said, it's probably not going to be good.
No,
but it's going to be a lot of fun. That's all you want.
Yeah, that's all you really need. It's space. Like, you're not expecting an Oscar. Like, this is going to be, plot wise, a train wreck. But in terms of like, did I laugh? Yeah. Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of movies that are probably not going to be great, but are probably going to be a lot of fun. The Godzilla vs. Kong director Adam Wingard is apparently developing a Thundercats movie.
All right. All right.
Like I said, Godzilla vs. Kong is a monster movie. It's mostly humans with like the action that is there between the monsters is very good. So like, sure, Thundercats. Like if he wants to do it, this seems like the kind of thing where I don't think Warner Brothers would just make a Thundercats movie. This sounds like the kind of project where like the director was like, I want to make something. I want to make this thing. This is a thing I am passionate about. Hey, Warner Brothers, will you let me to make a Thundercats movie? And they were like, okay. Sure, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, and like honestly, yeah, and like Thundercats is one of those properties that like has always had potential, but like every time you thought about it recently, it's been like, oh yeah, they squandered that.
Yeah.
So like maybe this is the chance.
Mm-hmm. I just hope they don't like. I assume it's gonna be a live action. I hope it doesn't look too furry bait.
Like I think we all know where this is going.
Yeah.
The internet's a weird place, my guy.
Yeah. But regardless, Thundercats is what like it's one of those classic 80s franchises like Transformers and He-Man that just they weren't good at the time, but they were a blast to just watch and just have a fun time watching old school cartoons. And even the like most recent like 2011 reboot show, which I think got 2 seasons, was honestly pretty good.
So,
yeah. So yeah, why not just have them make a sequel, or reboot movie. Now we're only halfway through this podcast. We're already an hour in. Let's keep it rolling. And find out what Disney is up to now. So as we alluded to earlier, Black Widow has been delayed again. Originally, it was going to be May 2020. Then it was pushed to November 2020. Then it was going to be May 2021. Now it is officially going to be July 29th, 2021, with same-day premiere access on Disney+. So,
allegedly. There's still time. Like until the movie comes out, they can keep moving it back.
I think because it is coming out on Disney+, we will be able to see it in some form on July 9th. They might, for some reason, delay the movie, like the theater release later, but they would have no reason, since the movie's done, they're not just going to be like, oh, the file's probably already in Disney Plus server somewhere that is ready to put the on switch. They're not just going to delay it if it's, if it's ready to go. So in July, we'll finally be able to see Black Widow. By then, I'll be fully vaccinated. I'll be able to see it in theaters. So yeah.
About time. But I mean, better late than never, presumably. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I still feel that like I understand there's a lot of movies that Marvel has on their plate that they kind of want to get the train going.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Falcon Winter Soldier is still here. And it's fantastic.
Yeah. Dude, okay. Like, not to get too into it, but the first scene in the first episode where Falcon just goes up, that was watching, I was like, this is so good. Like, I was watching that, I was like,
there are
that was
so
such
many
a good
times the
action
first
scene.
3 episodes, which is all that's been out by the time the time of recording. The first 3 episodes, like I legitimately just forgot I wasn't watching a movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that good. Like that right there is the distinction. Is like I remember there was this weird like idea back with like WandaVision where some people were you like, why isn't this just why isn't this just a movie? There's nothing about this that makes me think it shouldn't just be a long movie. Like it's specifically made to be a show
It's a
about
TV
shows.
show about TV shows.
Yeah.
So like it wouldn't really make sense because different episodes. I mean, up until the end, really, it was like different episodes were different TV shows.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Whereas I could easily see that argument with this movie, where probably by the end of it is just going to feel like a 6-hour movie, pretty much. Like every single episode seems like it is a movie quality. The effects seem to be fantastic. The choreography, like Sharon Carter going ham on those dudes,
like a lot, and like some of the same moves from Civil War, or like
that episode was directed by the guy that made John Wick.
That explains a lot. But like hitting the guy and then hitting the other guy, shooting the person using the other person's gun, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I see you're familiar with Keanu's work. Like,
yeah, like just like it's here. I'm not missing Marvel right now. Like
Marvel right here.
I'll probably miss Marvel in May because Falcon Winter Soldier will be ending in like mid-April, but in May, Bad Batch is coming out. So like what?
And like Loki's coming out later this year anyway. So July, like that's more
June. Yeah. So like
like it's coming. We're gonna have stuff. Like
I think they said that the Bad Batch is gonna have a 70-minute premiere, so there's gonna be 2 episodes in one basically, and then episodes like a week after, like weekly after that. So
70 minutes. That's like 3 episodes, isn't it?
Well, not
depending on how they do it, because like Clone Wars is usually like the standard 22.
Yeah,
or 25-ish, depending.
Well, considering Clone Wars originally was made for syndication, whereas this is just a show on Disney Plus. Like even the Mandalorian had some like 28, some episodes were 56. Like,
okay, yeah. I mean, I'll take it. Like, I don't care. Like,
40-minute episodes. Like, I'll take it.
I'll just watch it. Like, I'm all like, it's all good either way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it sucks that Black Widow is getting delayed again. That's a movie that deserves to come out. It's a movie that deserves to be, received well. It deserves to make money just for Scarlett Johansson's sake. Playing this character for over 10 years now, she deserves to get her due.
100% should make $1 billion. Like,
but and I think coming out in July after hopefully most of the country is vaccinated, people will feel comfortable enough to actually go to theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't go to theater, that feels like the kind of movie people would be actually willing to spend money on Disney Plus. Unfortunately, unlike Raya and the Last Dragon and other movies like that, people just didn't really feel, like paying for that.
Right, because like, and this one, because like Raya and like even, I mean, well, Mulan, you kind of just it's a remake kind of, so it's like you kind of already know what's going on, but like. Raya, it kind of feels more like a kid's movie, but like Black Widow's for everybody.
Yes.
So like,
yeah. Although because Black Widow is coming out on July 9th now, that does mean that Shang-Chi had to be delayed a month in September 3rd, which because the movies are so close together, that does mean that there's way less of a chance of Black Widow making as much money as it should. Because most Marvel movies, yes, they do make the majority of their money within the first 2 weeks, or then like over a couple of months, they just kind of keep going and going. Whereas this will only have less than a month to really track before the next Marvel movie comes out.
Yeah.
And
but to be fair, of all the movies, like Shang-Chi feels like not that I'm like saying that, but like I feel like Shang-Chi would be the one to kind of like least affect it, so to speak.
Yeah. Although I do feel like Shang-Chi is the first real Marvel project to like forward the Marvel timeline, except for maybe Loki. That seems to. I'm sure something will happen at the end of Loki to like really push it forward, but as of right now, Falcon and Winter Soldier seems to still be like very, very like secluded. Like I'm sure the finale is gonna be something
huge.
Because we already know that something Wakanda-y is gonna happen soon.
So
like,
so hype.
That little drum riff is so good.
Yeah, I know, because you know it. You hear, you're like, and like you get so excited. It's so funny, but like, and he's like tracking little like beads, like they're breadcrumbs. It's just like, oh no, it's time. Yes. Like I was so hyped, man. It's just
it really does feel like Shang-Chi because they're reintroducing the Mandarin, who like, reintroducing the Mandarin, who I feel theoretically could be like not an arc villain like Thanos or even Loki, but someone actually probably closer to a Loki, where like he shows up in one movie and then can kind of appear in future projects down the line. Hopefully they don't kill him off in the first movie he shows up in again, because he is a pretty major character in Marvel. I could easily see him just kind of showing up in Shang-Chi and then sticking around for future projects if assuming they don't kill him off. So
yeah, and like I think, and hopefully they will, but yeah, you never really know. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, because I'm interested because like I know because it's like what, it's Shang-Chi something and then Spider-Man. What is
Eternals.
It? Eternals, right? Yeah. Eternals, and that can move back also.
No, that's still in November.
Okay,
so that's good. Very similar to the New Gods, which I always felt like them announcing the New Gods was just a reaction to them saying to Disney announcing the Eternals. The Eternals, I'm sure it's going to be a good movie. Space opera. Like it's going to be like we eventually, are going to go to space stuff eventually. Like even, and that also could potentially have sword influence out there also, but I have a feeling that I'm not nearly as excited about the Eternals as I am these other, even Shang-Chi. I feel I'm more excited for Shang-Chi than I am the Eternals. I'm definitely more excited for Spider-Man No Way Home. Like hopefully the Eternals will surprise me, but right now, of the 4 Marvel, there's still 4 Marvel movies coming out in the next 6 months. The last 6 months of the year. If I had to skip one, probably the Eternals.
Yeah.
So potential will be good. I don't know.
But yeah, again, like if it had to be one that I like see later or like once it comes out on Disney Plus, it's like, yeah, probably. But then again, it might have huge implications for something else. So maybe you do need to know, but we'll see.
Yeah. Sticking with Marvel for just a bit. The Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the most popular Disney Plus premiere to date. It had 1.7 million viewers first day.
Wow.
Yep.
That's impressive. That's better. Yeah. I was impressed. I thought it would probably be WandaVision, but yeah.
WandaVision was the most popular since Mandalorian season 2, since Mandalorian season 1. So now Falcon Winter Soldier is the most popular since WandaVision.
Like that's gonna happen a lot because Disney Plus has it's only been out for so long. So every new thing's gonna be like, oh, the new highest gross, like the new best, the new
And but Loki got a new trailer today.
Yeah,
that's absolutely gonna be the new highest. It was good.
It's wild, but. Yeah, and like we said, as advertised, it's been really good. We get to, and again, it's doing what WandaVision. We get to flesh out and hear more about characters who aren't always the main person we're focused on when we've seen them on screen. Like, I know Bucky has a movie named after him, but like, it kind of feels he kind of always been kind of a second fiddle to Steve, obviously. So now it's kind of like, all right. You guys run the show, and that's really cool.
It's weird because like the first episode of Falcon Winter Soldier, I liked it, but it didn't like hook me like Mandalorian or WandaVision did. But then episode 2 really did. So I was a little afraid I wasn't gonna, because honestly, Sam and his sister, their deal with the boat I just didn't really
Yeah,
care
wasn't
about.
that
Like I
interesting.
liked what it was trying to say, but I didn't. It wasn't what I was here for, you know. Uh, Whereas once they started getting more into the whole, the actual story and like actually fighting stuff, and Zemo is just fantastic. I like him so much better in this than I did Civil War, which like I thought he was fine in Civil War, but like he's much more of a character now. He's much more,
Right. It's
he
kind
has
of
much more
plot device the
personality.
first time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Everybody's all the returning characters felt really really good,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good sign. So
I love so much when Bucky just like walks into Zemo's cage, and Zemo just immediately starts like saying the code words at him.
I mean, like, it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
Like, you never know. It's not like you had other options.
I would have done that too. So yeah, that's 3 more episodes. They're gonna be great.
Yeah, it'll be really good.
Also, Russell Crowe has officially joined the cast for Thor: Love and Thunder.
Ooh.
So we don't know who he's playing yet, but he's a good actor. So yeah, sure, why not?
Welcome to the CU.
Yeah, this movie is gonna be insane. Just insane.
Everyone's in these movies.
Christian Bale is the main villain. Like it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Everyone's gonna be in it. We get to go. It can't wait. Just can't wait.
Last little bit of Disney news that I have. Joel Edgerton and Bonnie Pies, sure, we'll go with that, are reprising their roles as the younger Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru in the Kenobi show.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Considering their only line in episode 2 was to say, "Hi, I'm Uncle Owen. Sorry, I'm Owen. This is Beru. I guess we're your step siblings." That's their only line in the movie.
And again, like they, and they just did the thing to say, "Oh, they did the thing," obviously. Yeah. But I mean,
they named themselves and they're good to go.
Yeah, it's like you exist. No, but I like that they're keeping up with the continuity just because they can. They know it's the little stuff like that they know the fans really appreciate, and I think that's really good.
Yeah, and like it makes perfect sense that because this movie takes place 10 years in the future, following Obi-Wan while he's on Tatooine, probably other places as well, but like focusing in on his time on Tatooine, it would make sense that he would check on how they're doing, how like how 10-year-old baby Luke is doing. Like it's it's gonna be good.
I'm very excited.
That show, I think it's starting filming this month, is going to come out early next year. So yeah, Ice Cube's going to be in it. So why not?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they had a giant like cast list announcement, and Ice Cube was going to be somebody.
What?
Probably,
all right. I'll take random people in movies for 300. Like, all right. Ice Cube. Like that, I was not expecting that at all. It's like, what, Snoop Dogg gonna play something? Like, I don't, not the like.
I mean, I assume you're gonna play some alien or something. But
I mean, I could see it. I'm kind of surprised that I could have seen, like, if Snoop Dogg was in like Guardians of the Galaxy or something, it would have fit. Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, but no, I mean, it's what it is. Ice Cube. I want to see what he plays, but that's gonna be interesting.
So, in other nerd news, you got one more movie getting delayed. I know we talked about this the very last time we had like a more standard podcast. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, got delayed again.
Oof.
It was scheduled for September 17th. It got pushed back to September 24th. My birthday.
Oh.
So happy birthday, me. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage coming out. Okay.
They only moved it back a week, though?
Yep.
Why?
I don't know. See, like a similar thing happened with the Mortal Kombat movie where it got pushed back a week because Godzilla versus Kong is doing way better than they thought they would at the box office. They're like, we'll give it a little more time to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll push that back. Whereas I don't think Sony announced any other major movie. This might be in response to Shang-Chi moving to September. So they're like, we want to keep this in late September, but like, let's make it. We still want to keep it in September, but just give it, a little more wiggle room from Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
Which like I respect that, like, because Venom 1 did way better than it should have.
Yes,
like,
because nothing was out. Because it was what, October 18th?
It was early October, yeah.
Yeah, and there was like 2018. Nothing out until December. So like, people are just gonna go watch movies whether you or not. So yeah, they're probably
like the first half of that year was very strong, and the second half had Venom. So...
yeah.
And Aquaman, but like that was.
So like, and again, both of those movies did better than they should have. So like,
there's no reason why either of those did better than Into the Spider-Verse. But you know what? I'm over it. I'm over it, kind of. But like, I still, because it did so well, I could see why they're not necessarily afraid completely of Shang-Chi, to not move it out of the month entirely, but just kind of give it, because it is a Marvel movie and they know as soon as Black Widow hits, they're going to push hard for Shang-Chi. So it would make perfect sense for them to give it at least as much time as they can to still fit their schedule. So yeah, September 24th, I probably won't see it, but if it actually gets better reviews, if the trailers actually look good, we'll see.
Might be worth checking out.
Mm-hmm. Has there been any news about Gotham Knights since it was announced last year?
It's been delayed to next year, but other than
have you heard of any developer updates or anything?
No, I got nothing, because I've been looking too. I don't have much of anything.
Yeah, it's April. We have heard nothing about it. It's getting delayed. Sorry.
It's okay, because like, I get it, but like, I don't know. I'm just worried about, because like, I do have like I had like initial worries about it, because it's like the Arkham games, but not for some reason. So like, I was a little skeptical already, because I'm like, why, if it's not broke, why fix it? But I digress. But also, I mean, it seems like an awesome game, an awesome Batman game, and it actually has Tim Drake for once. So like, maybe they'll do it.
Tim Drake.
Yeah, I mean, not weird bald Tim Drake, or not every Jason Todd, but we'll call him Tim Drake. But it's just like, we'll see. But anyway, I just like, I'm okay with them having it back, just because like, if they need more time, or if it's COVID, like, I'd rather them take their time and make it work than rush it and not make it work. So
yeah, because we already know it's going to be a live service game, at least how be based around that. So those games in particular, you need to make sure they're good at launch. Because if like the Avengers game, because it wasn't
that happened.
People just kind of dropped off the cliff and haven't really gone back to it.
Like, I've heard it like got a little better, but like it's too far gone.
It might. There's a chance that like a year from now it might have like a Rainbow Six Siege effect, where like after enough updates come out and people start picking it up again, they'll enjoy it. But right now it's not looking like that.
Which is so wrong, because like, theoretically this should be huge.
Yes.
They kind of missed their window a bit, but it's like,
a game
still,
I've wanted since 2012. They just haven't made it until now, and they trusted Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, of all people, to make it. And they're like, "Yeah, you made a Tomb Raider. Just do this." Like, the Tomb Raider games are great, but like, as far as I know, they haven't made a game to this scale that's an online service game. And they're just like, "Yeah, you just make Avengers. You got this." And they
got it. Doesn't happen. Oh no.
Sorry.
Whoops. But we'll see. I mean, but we'll see. But as far as just waiting, because I know that Suicide Squad game is also 2022, I believe. So I guess they're kind of gonna make them together come out.
I know they're two different studios. So one of other studios. One is Rocksteady and one is WB Montreal. I assume that Gotham Knights is going to be like March, and then Suicide Squad is going to be either September or later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very possible that they could easily work with 2 different Batman-esque games in the same year.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like that Suicide Squad game is going to be too Batman focused anyway.
Yeah,
because obviously it's more about the Justice League as a whole. So
he might be in it, but he's not going to be the main.
Probably not.
You're gonna fight Batman probably as DLC, but like you're not gonna play as Batman probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're probably only gonna be villains, to be honest. So.
I'm still not sold on the idea of the Suicide Squad game having Brainiac really be the main villain. That seems way too much of an escalation. That's the major crux of the problem with the Suicide Squad movie in 2016. Like the Suicide Squad, you're making them fight Superman. That doesn't, or they formed to fight Superman. That doesn't really seem to work for me. So having like the main drive for this game be, the Justice League has turned evil. We're going to get these expendable people to go fight them. Just doesn't seem that enticing to me. I would have preferred some like a full-on heist game, or like or just something a little more small scale, at least for the first Suicide Squad game, and then essentially have where it would be kind of easy to have like Batman could be a villain or antagonist trying to stop you from your heist. But other than that, I'm not looking forward to actually fighting Superman or Wonder Woman or etc. as Suicide Squad, at least right now. They might prove me wrong, but right now I'm not that excited.
Yeah, and when you were explaining it, I kind of imagine, I was like, what if it was kind of like a Grand Theft Auto Suicide Squad kind of game?
That sounds great.
Right?
They already have driving mechanics down from Arkham Knight, so yeah. The Batmobile, like when you're actually just driving around the city, it feels good.
I mean, kind of, yeah, but oh man, yeah, the driving was annoying, man. Like it like especially those like Riddler races, but like just in general it was rough. But yeah, I get it. But yeah, I think that'd be interesting. You're kind of just like around, like obviously you're always a criminal, so like people are coming after you, but like I think that'd be kind of cool to like try to like rob some like big high-tech company or something, maybe like Stag Industries or maybe LexCorp or something, like I don't know. And then like Luthor is like, you're trying to steal from me, I don't like that, and like comes after you.
And then like Amanda Waller tells them to do one thing, but really there's this whole other agenda she has going, and you have to like figure that out as you like. Just I feel like especially since evil Superman isn't even close to a new idea, let alone a new idea in video games, since Injustice already did that twice. In fact, Injustice 2 had Brainiac as the main antagonist.
That is true.
I don't know. I think, because it is Rocksteady, I have full faith in them to make a good game. Even though Arkham Knight, I feel, is the weakest in that trilogy, it's still a great game. Like the combat is still fantastic, the story is whatever, but like the combat is still really, really good. I think it'll be very fun to play. I just think it's a little too narrow-minded of an idea for something outside of Batman. It's like, okay, well, we're not going to do Arkham stuff, so let's just have evil Superman. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe more will come around with it. Maybe it'll make more sense. Who knows? But the initial premise kind of seems like really, especially with like you said, Injustice did that. We kind of seen that, and also like stuff like The Boys and like other like superheroes go. It kind of feels like every superhuman world protector is like, oh, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, even the Invincible has a character basically evil Superman.
Yeah, I actually saw that today.
I need to watch that show. Like I've seen some.
Yes, you do. It is very good.
Okay. And even Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's like, okay, we're gonna fight Superman in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
And then the end teaser is evil Superman. Yeah, you're getting excited for the next movie, right? Evil Superman. like,
You've never seen
already
that.
did
Never seen that before. Like, we get it. But it feels weird because it kind of feels like Superman was kind of already evil Superman in this universe. Or at least like passive aggressive Superman, you know, like he like didn't really seem to care about anybody until the movie told him he needed to.
Yeah, whatever. So like, I think both Goth Knights and Suicide Squad have potential to be very good. And yeah, them even if I have a very high feeling that the Suicide Squad game will be delayed out of 2022. It's already, it's already been, in development for probably 5 years now at this point. Just if it needs more time, take it. Yeah, take all the time you need to make the game as good as possible. So I'm not mad about it.
No, totally worth it. Because again, like there's other games coming out. Like, like we'll be okay. I'll wait. We can wait. I'd rather, just wait and it be good than rush it and then.
Yeah. Last little bit of news. Comic-Con is happening this year.
Yes.
Over Thanksgiving weekend.
Why Thanksgiving weekend specifically?
That is a awful idea.
Yeah.
27th and 28th. Already Black Friday? So already that weekend is the highest weekend for airline traffic. So, people who are, like vacationing, coming to and from for Thanksgiving stuff, taking early Christmas vacation, etc. That weekend already sucks for air travel, let alone Comic-Con, which is one of the biggest conventions on the planet. Journalists and everyone, converging there probably have to go by plane, assuming plane travel is a good option. And then hopefully it will be, right? Hopefully, yeah.
I ain't driving, but yeah.
That seems insane to me to do it that weekend. Like, they're gonna be preoccupied by so many other things. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm glad that it's actually happening this year, but why then?
It's a terrible, because like you said, of all the weekends, it could still be in November and that's fine. But why Thanksgiving weekend? Because 1, Thanksgiving. 2, Black Friday. 3, no, you've already got so much going on. That's a terrible idea.
I already know of one, they mostly cover video games and stuff, but they still at least have a representative go to Comic-Con every year. I already know of that group. They are a guy who usually goes to Comic-Con is like, yeah, I don't think I'm going this year.
Nope. No, I wouldn't either. Because one, if you don't spend time with your family, everyone's gonna be like, really? You want Comic-Con over me? It's like, well, yes, but I'm not gonna tell you that.
My
but
job, but
yeah, right? It's like, no, I'm not gonna tell you that. But and also it could so easily just be the week before or after.
Preferably the week before, but yeah.
Yeah, why can't it be the weekend of November 15th or something? I don't know I haven't looked at November's calendar. Yeah, it could literally be the week of November 12th.
Yep.
Week before. Nobody gets hurt. But no, we have to do it on Thanksgiving because there's not enough going on Thanksgiving weekend.
I don't know.
I don't know. But
especially since most other conventions are either getting canceled or going digital this year again. It's not like they're picking that spot because there's no other other conventions are taking up time slots in November, as far as I know.
This was an honest choice. They were like, you know what? I want to do it this weekend because I really don't feel like eating what is it? I almost like cranberry pie. Cranberry sauce with my family. It's just dude, and I understand it's over the weekend you can go after Thanksgiving, but it's that's not really the point. It's everyone's gonna be traveling, everyone's gonna be everywhere else. Bad move, but we'll have to see. And Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I don't know.
Oh,
bad move. But as long as we get trailers and or announcements,
Yes.
Works for me.
Yes. For me and you, it's gonna be great because like
I wasn't going anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm going anywhere.
Like I'm not gonna fly. Definitely not driving all the way there.
But for people who actually have to go there for their job or just just want to go there for experience it.
Yeah, and like especially considering like last year's Thanksgiving was probably like severely handicapped for COVID. Like if this year's Thanksgiving is a lot better, people are really gonna want to see their families.
Yeah.
At least I would think so. So yeah, don't really love this move at all, but
whatever.
Not my call.
Again, we'll probably get new trailers for maybe actually get a trailer for Black Adam. Then I don't know.
Hey, something to talk about. hey, let's get some Flash stuff, and then we'll talk Black Adam. Or is that never coming out? Or
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Like it's just stuff like that. It's like Cyborg's getting a movie. JK, Cyborg's in the Flash movie. JK, Cyborg's not in any Flash. Like
which sucks. Really sucks for Ray Fisher. I thought he
earned it with this movie.
Yeah, for what he was given, he did a great job in Justice League. So
but
I don't know.
Who knows?
Whatever. So I think that's all the topics I have. Anything else you have?
Well, have you seen the Loki trailer yet?
I have seen that Loki trailer. Yeah, I just forgot to write it down, but yeah, it's.
Okay. Do you want to talk about it or?
I mean, sure. Yeah.
Trailer. I mean, I was like, we can. I mean, I know it's not a lot, but I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like how Loki did the little like knife flip, like he didn't do in Ragnarok. Yeah,
trademark. Yeah, it was really good, and I thought it was interesting. Like, I know we still don't know like really what's going on, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting because again, I kind of forget because this is Avengers Loki. This isn't like we don't have a lot of the other things going on, so it's kind of like having to remember that, but also somehow I feel like this is going to end up. He's going to end up coming back and being this Loki later.
Yes.
But not. So like,
yeah. So because of just because of the. Basically, they're basically time cops. I have a feeling they at least have access to other timelines, so they'll probably show Loki what he's done in other timelines as well, etc. So he might not end up being the same character as in right before he died in Infinity War, but I think he'll at least go closer to being a good guy than Avengers Loki was. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And it's weird because like I really like as much as I get like what they did with Gamora, I kind of was underwhelmed by that because like it was as soon as they reached the pinnacle of like her arc with like she's cool with her sister, her and Quill are doing things, like you're gone. And then it's like, oh, we've got pseudo Gamora, and it's kind of like that's not really the same. And I'm kind of worried that might happen again with Loki, but because we have the show, I feel like he's gonna get this arc, or maybe he'll see what goes on, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll have to see. But just as long as they'll make it work too, and the show looks fantastic. So
I really like the idea of in that timeline that they in that Avengers timeline, this Loki stealing the Tesseract made a dramatic enough split in the fabric of time-space reality where they simply need Loki to then go and fix stuff like that. That just feels right. It's
yeah. Although that's kind of weird how that they need to, but not Steve or somebody else. Or
I guess because Steve fixed it very shortly after. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know the parameters of that, but
I just had a thought. I just had an interesting thought. So when Steve went back in time to put the Space Stone back in Hank Pym's lab, he put it back just as the gem. It shouldn't be a box. How?
Welcome. There are many. We try not to think about them, but there are many. I've thought about this. Or with the whole Red Skull thing, did he have to throw how did he yo, that's crazy? Or there's a like really you could say it for like half of them. You're kind of like, how did that even work out?
Yeah. Yeah, because the Mind Stone was also like in a casing in the staff.
Right.
Although I guess it did like shatter and come out in WandaVision, so it has the ability to go back and forth between those. So I guess the Tesseract, I guess maybe the Tesseract is intelligent enough to know, or sorry, I guess the Space Stone is intelligent enough to know that if it goes back to that point in time, it should just reform the Tesseract, even though
But
the
can it?
pieces that formed it are technically in the future. Whatever, it's fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but does that just randomly manifest? Like, can that do that? Like,
It's an Infinity Stone. It can do whatever.
yes, but that's just completely right.
I don't know. I mean, the Tesseract is already a theoretical entity as it is.
Yeah, no, I mean the whole thing makes no sense. Like, if you, we could go with this all day, but no, it's just kind of like, yeah, there was a lot of that whole thing that was kind of weird, but like, we just assume Steve figured it out because it's Captain America. Plus, he's got the hammer now, so like he can do anything.
Yeah.
But also,
yeah. Speaking of Red Skull, I would not be surprised if Red Skull showed up in Falcon Winter Soldier.
Really?
Yeah, because like the Soul Stone was taken in this timeline,
right?
So what does Red Skull do now? What does he just get to go travel around? Does he get to come back? He wasn't like banished per se,
kind of just
or
like,
if he was, it seemed like theoretically he should have been been relieved from that.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know, he could just kind of show back up on Earth.
Okay, well, let's say he did free to do whatever he wants. How does he get back to Earth?
Same way he got the ability to float.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's true. He does kind of just like, he's like an entity now. Like, I kind of, that is kind of weird. So is he dead or like not? Or like,
I mean,
right? Because like, I was kind of like, is he like a spirit now? Because like, he kind of had that grim Reaper vibe. So maybe he's more an entity than a person, but like,
yeah.
not. Like,
because we know that this character who is intrinsically connected to Steve exists in the Marvel Universe somewhere, it would make sense that he potentially could show up in a show about Steve's successor,
Yeah, I mean, that does make sense, but it's also like, I guess it's more of like how it would work, but like, again, anything's possible. I mean, these are comic book movies theoretically. Or maybe we get a new Red Skull, like who knows?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe
there's been multiple in the comics, so yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's even if that doesn't happen, Falcon Winter Soldier is still just going to be.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
I think it's really good. The action's been, like you said, the fight scenes, the action's been great so far because, and that's something I always liked about the Captain America movies, like that they really focus on the hand-to-hand combat more than all the other ones because they don't just have pulse guns or a magic hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like we actually have to fight people. Granted, I'm stronger than you, but like I have to punch and kick and block and stuff. So it's pretty cool to see. But also kind of feels like, man, regular we can fight each other, but also like regular people should not get in there. You kind of just forget Bucky starts running as fast as cars. You're like, oh yeah, he can do that. It's so easy to react. It's like, I don't know. It's like sometimes you just think it's the arm, and then it's like, oh, it's not just the arm. He's just like, he's also that dude. I forget, but no, it looks really good. I'm excited for it to just like conclude. I'm hoping that like something huge happens, just like because I like huge things dropping in the Marvel universe, but like probably nothing huge. But I'm kind of surprised we haven't like heard from anyone else yet, like in this universe. At least like I know like Rhodey was in the first episode a little bit, but like I was kind of surprised like no other Avengers have like at least like reached out or like, hey, what's going on with this? Because this is starting to get big.
That's kind of a thing with Marvel movies in general. Like Iron Man 3, Thor 2, and Captain America Winter Soldier all theoretically should have been Avengers level threats.
Yeah.
So, other Avengers not necessarily interacting with other Avengers in their specific movies is not
Yeah, I
out of
know.
the
I know, and I guess my more thing is kind of like I show up. Like I'm not expecting like Spider-Man and who know Doctor Strange to just show up, be like, hey guys, need some help, but like maybe like a call here or there, or like a check-in with somebody that we know, just because because I like when Rhodey shows up, I like that, and I think that's really cool,
especially since he is, or at least was, in the Air Force, and now Falcon's in the Air Force.
Yeah, he has like the most ties to like the government that anyone else probably would, so like that makes a lot of sense. But like, yeah, I like not that we know too much, but like it seems like Bucky's Wakanda thing is something going to be happening with that, so like that's really cool. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with that. I'm really excited to keep it going, and yeah, per usual, it's a bop. So
okay, anything else you want to bring up or discuss?
That's all I've got.
Okay, and with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care, guys.